So it's all for play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. This is stupid o'clock in the morning. Haven't really been able to sleep tonight. I've had a couple of kids not sleeping great throughout the course of the night. But anyway, I digress with my personal life. But what it has done is it has given me a lot of time and a chance to check up on one player that I had watched once or twice before playing with Romania and once for Rayo Vallecano. And that's Andrei Ratiu, who was linked to Aston Villa. He's a right back, and he was linked by Mattia Moretto last night on Twitter, along with Juan Fight, who's somebody we've done a piece on the podcast before. You can go back and watch that as well if you do so wish to do. So Ratiu is a Romanian international, plays at right back. He's 6 foot, he's 26 years of age. He does also hold Spanish citizenship as well. He joined Vallecano on 26th of August 2003. And his contract runs until 2028. Estimated market value of about 7 million euros. I watched this guy first. As I said, I'd seen him play a couple of times. Saw him play for Romania against Montenegro. And yeah, what was I doing watching that game? I was just bored off my tree one day, and I was flicking through the channels, and it was a repeat of that game on probably, it was either Virgin Media or Premier Sports or one of those channels, and I got to see it. And he kind of stood out slightly, and I'll talk about why in a moment. I also saw him play as well because I was doing a scouting series, and a player that Aston Villa were linked with. It was Samu, the Valladolid striker that ended up moving to Porto. Villa were linked with him, and obviously they didn't sign him. So I watched a couple of games that Valladolid played, and one of them was against Vallecano. And he was playing in that game as well. So I have seen him play on a couple of occasions. He is somebody, as I say, that I did put an asterisk beside after that game I saw for him playing against Romania, or for Romania against Montenegro. And I've had a lot of time this evening to look at bits and pieces of him. I have watched a game where he played for, as I say, I rewatched that game against Valladolid again, and I watched the game where he played for Huesca because he spent 2 years on loan at Huesca, and I watched him play for them against Levante in the second division of Spanish football. And the reason I did that was because that was his first real big breakout into professional football, and I wanted to see if there was any growth from that period of time to now. Now, here's another nugget about this guy. This guy has played under Unai Emery before. It was fleetingly, because he has been at Villarreal. This guy was at Villarreal from 2018 to 2021. Realistically speaking, he was at Villarreal from 2018 to 2023 because he is on a 2-year loan at Huesca. And Villarreal still holds some of his rights. I think it's 50% of his rights, or 50% of his sell-on fee will go to Villarreal. As I say, he's rumored to have a transfer value of about 7 million. Although it's also rumored that he has a release clause of 25 million. A couple of teams have been sniffing around him over the last couple of years. I think Napoli were looking at him last season, and of course Barcelona are always looking for players. And any player in the Spanish league that shows any slight bit of promise or a heartbeat, Barcelona are linked to them. But we never know if Barcelona can sign players or not. So I don't really know whether that was the case. So he spent time with Villarreal when Unai Emery was there. Unai Emery never played him. He played in the B team, in the C team, and he went out and loaned to Den Haag in the Netherlands, and also to Huesca, as I mentioned previously. But he was then sold to Vallecano, and he has played with them. He's played, I'm just going to bring it up here. He's played 28 games for them, 12 games last season when they finished 17th in La Liga, and then he's played 16 games for them this season. Through the course of his career, he's 4 goals scored and 8 assists. So he didn't really get his first real massive break until in the proper senior setup. As I say, he played with Villarreal B and Villarreal C before, but he got his real big break Den Haag in 2020-2021 when he was on loan there. Played 10 games in that season. Next season then he went to Huesca He played 34 games, started 27 of them. Season after that, in 2022-2023, played 38 games, started 38 games for Huesca in La Liga 2. Played 3,345 minutes in that season as well. Last year, he didn't play a whole pile for Rayo Vallecano. And this season, he's played 16 matches played, 15 started. He's played nearly 1,400 minutes as well. He's 1 goal and 1 assist. So that's kind of the lowdown on this player, as I say, Romanian international, somebody who I'd seen before. But I got to look at him in a couple of aspects. This is a non-complete scouting series on this guy because I've only watched 2 games. I usually like to watch 5. I've only seen 2 games, or watched 2 games, should I say, of him over the course of this afternoon's or this night, should I say. So bear with me on this one. It's an incomplete one. Now, I'm going to pop up his scouting sheet here. And first thing I'm going to say is, yes, he does at times have blue hair. And sometimes he has yellow hair. And sometimes he has crazy hair. And sometimes he has normal hair. So if you're for somebody who doesn't sign a player because they like to have blue hair or yellow hair or different colored hair, well, then this guy may not be for you. But let's take a little look at some of his statistics. So I think he's a pretty rounded player. What I've seen of him, number one, he's 6 foot. And he looks 6 foot when he's on the field. He actually looks a bit bigger. He's a strong guy. You know, he's not meek in any way, shape, or form. When you see him play, he looks 6 foot to me. We look at his defensive statistics here. I like you can get caught up in the amount of tackles, the amount of blocks and interceptions that a fullback has. I don't really mind the blocks and interceptions a fullback has, because realistically, what they're doing on that, if they're blocking an awful lot and intercepting an awful lot, is they're doing that away from goal. They should be doing that. The blocks would normally come blocking things out for corners and stuff. I'm okay with that. It doesn't have to be a huge number, and it never usually is for fullbacks. His tackle rate is pretty decent. It's 2 tackles per 90. Puts him up there with Matty Cash. Far away ahead of Ezri Konsa, as we can see there in our radial graph on the right-hand side. What really draws me to this guy is when you watch him on the field, and it's one of those instances whereby we've seen, I did a piece on Mingueza recently, Oscar Mingueza, and the numbers didn't match the film study. For this guy, the numbers do match the film study for the next 3 or for the next defensive statistics I'm going to show, because the percentage of dribblers tackled, he loves to tackle people running at him. He's lots of experience of doing that in La Liga 2, and also doing it for Vallecano in the in La Liga proper as well. So people run at him, he will get there, he will tackle you, whether it's a stand-up tackle, he will go to ground as well. And he's pretty decent at it. You know, he's better than pretty decent. He's very, very solid with regards to it. Could translate into the Premier League, and has a massive percentage of dribblers tackled number. He doesn't lose an awful lot of challenges. When he goes in for a challenge, either the ball squirts out left or right. He may not come away with it, but that other person will be, majority of the time, the ball will be deviated, or he will hinder their run, or he will win that challenge. And he doesn't commit an awful lot of fouls as well. So from a fullback point of view, what do you want your player to do? You want him to be comfortable tackling people running at him if you leave him out in an island out there on that right-hand side. You also want him to not lose those challenges, to be able to to get in there and at least make that ball deviate, or put the player off their stride as well. And also, you don't want somebody giving away a ton of fouls out there as well. So that all really, really stacks up for me here. His aerial duels percentage is 33.3%. Okay, what I watched, there wasn't a whole pile of crossfield balls coming through, but this guy loves to get forward as well, as we'll see with his possession and his passing stats in a moment. He loves to get forward. He doesn't hang around in that right back position to wait for those balls to come across, and he doesn't invert at all from what I've seen. His heat map there, you can see below, shows that he comes in slightly. No, with games I've seen there, he loves to hug that touchline. He's your more traditional right back, loves to get up and get down, probably more traditional English style right back, if you like, if you want for want of a better phrase, should I say. Isn't tasked with a ton of workload. And look, statistics are manipulated by the strength of the team that you're playing for. He's playing for a team that isn't ball dominant. He's playing for a team as well that's 17th, 15th, 14th. They're the positions that they're going to they would love to finish in La Liga. They're not perennial challengers. They're They're a team that tries not to get relegated every year. So he's not going to have a ton of workload. And he attempts 37.93 passes per game. Completes 80.1% of those. Once again, a team that isn't ball dominant. I'm not expecting him to have a ton of key passes. I'm not expecting him to have a ton of goal creating actions because they're a team that doesn't score a whole pile. That isn't his fault. So when we look at these passing statistics that you can see here, the key passes, the goal creating actions, stuff like that, it isn't his fault that he doesn't create those, because he is a fullback playing in a team that is significantly worse in a lot of areas than the teams that they will play against. Now, what I want to say with regards to the goal creating actions there, it's 0.15 per 90. Of those goal creating actions, he creates shots on goal, with actual kicked shots on goal at a massive amount. Like, so nearly every single one of his goal creating actions will be shots on goal. And that to me is good, because when I'm going to talk about something in a moment about his crosses. I don't think he's a particularly good crosser of the ball, but he's not a very good crosser of the ball when he crosses it in the air. When he cuts the ball back to the penalty spot, he's much more adept, and that's what happens here. When he cuts the ball back, he creates goal scoring chances, creates shot creating actions that way. That's the way we play as an Aston Villa team. And if you are of the persuasion whereby you're sick of seeing Matty Cash run forward, double back, and give that ball back to Leon Bailey and not drive at the box or cross the ball in, this guy will do that. He will not the cutting back part, the driving at the box. He will kick the ball off a player and win a corner. He will drive towards the box like Matty Cash doesn't do. He will cut that ball back to the penalty area, like some people feel that Matty Cash doesn't do enough. So he will do that from a crossing and a goal creating action and a shot creating action point of view. But he's playing in a team that's significantly poorer than the majority of teams that they will play within La Liga as well. So you have to take all these numbers with a pinch of salt from the percentile point of view as well. Touches once again are down. Then again, they're not a ball dominant team, but when he has the ball at his feet, this is what I love about him. So the two areas that a fullback in English football should be good at is, can I tackle a man dribbling at me? Can I turn the offense into attack by dribbling the ball and carrying it forward? This guy can do both of those. So if you boil back the English fullback role to first principles, they're the two areas that you want. Am I good at dribbling the ball, as I say? Am I good at tackling people dribbling at me? And am I not horrendous in any other area? That's the simplification of it. This guy's really good at tackling people dribbling at him, and he's really good at dribbling with the ball and carrying it forward. And he's got a long stride, and he's pacey as well. We can see there he's almost in the top one. He's in the top 2% in all of Europe's top 5 leagues for completed dribbles from the fullback position, and his successful dribble rate is 55.6, which puts him in the top 16 percentile. That's really, really good. And then you add that in then as well. I said that he doesn't intercept or block the ball an awful lot, but he recovers loose balls at a really good rate, putting him in the top third of players in all of Europe's top 5 leagues for the amount of ball recoveries that he has. And once again, remember, this is a non-ball dominant team. So when that ball goes loose, he has to be good at winning that ball back. And he has been good at winning that ball back when it's loose. He has been good at tackling dribblers that are coming at him, and he isn't losing challenges when he goes into them, whether they be stand-up challenges or whether he goes to ground. So that's he's a very, very solid nature to him from that point of view. As we look it over there in the radial graph, you'll see what I mean there. The passing attempts and so on show that he's non-ball dominant in a non-ball dominant team, but everything else stacks up towards Matty Cash. And then when you look towards your crosses, your shot creating actions, and your progressive passes, he outweighs those guys. So he gives you what Matty Cash gives you in the defensive point of view. He gives you what Ezri Konsa gives you from that defensive point of view. And he adds 15 to 20% on from his attacking point of view as well. And I think he's got more promise than his numbers show here, considering he's playing in a team that, as I've said numerous times before, is a significantly lesser team than probably 2/3 of La Liga is. So if I move on here, his strengths are definitely his pace, his ability to get forward. That's any spelling mistakes that you see here are a tired man trying to put this together. So I do apologize. His weaknesses are crossing. When I say crossing, as I mentioned there, when he tries to put air under the ball and cross it to the back post, he ain't very accurate at it. He'll put one into the penalty spot every so often. He can cross from deep. He can go to go to the end line. It's just his crossing accuracy for me isn't like when I watched it in games was erratic at times. But if he drives to that box and pulls it back to the penalty spot or gets it across the 6-yard box, he's very good at that. And I think that's what we do. That suits our game a bit better, specifically from the right-hand side. You could have him coming in from the right-hand side. You could have Maatsen coming in from the left-hand side, or you could have the aerial bombardment from Digne, the left-hand side as well. And plus, we don't score a whole lot of goals from headers. We're not brilliant. Well, I'm sorry, I'm not going to say we don't score a whole lot of goals. We don't have hulks in our team. And people getting in at the back post is something that is kind of hit or miss for this team from time to time because we don't have big, tall players. So being able to cut the ball back for us is much more beneficial than putting air under the ball as well. So how do I rate this guy? I rated his defensive ability as a 65 out of 100. And the only reason for that is, as I say, this is an incomplete study for me. His defensive ability is really, really solid. I tied with giving this a 70 because I don't see many weaknesses in his defensive game. I really, really don't. But I don't have enough skill. I don't have enough sample set watched. His attacking ability, once again, he gave him 55. I'm probably underselling that because I'm watching him play in a non-ball dominant team. So realistically, his pace is very good. His ability to turn defense into attack is really good. His crossing was noticeably poor for me. His crossing, putting air under the ball was poor. So I kind of downgraded him from a 65 down to a 55 just for that. Incomplete evaluation again. He is a very good system fit for Unai Emery. A very, very good system fit. I've been in it there 70. And I gave this transfer possibility maybe a 60% because he knows Unai Emery. Unai Emery knows him. They've played at Villarreal. He's seen how he's how he's been at the team. He loaned him out to Den Haag and loaned him out to Huesca as well. So he obviously thought there was something in him, wanted to get him some experience out on loan and to see how he progressed there. And now, if this rumor is true, which I don't know if it is true or not, he's maybe going back to have another bite of the cherry with this guy. So interesting link. Incomplete evaluation, but should anything more come in this, we'll come back and we'll do more. I'm going to watch 1 or 2 more games of his just to see if I've maybe gotten things wrong or maybe the sample set is small because it is difficult to watch players in lesser teams or in teams where they're doing quite a lot of counter-attacking and defending as opposed to having more balanced play. That's why I watched the Valladolid game and that's why I watched the Huesca versus Levante game because I thought they might be a bit more balanced, a bit more even. So I'm going to watch a couple more games for him playing for Romania and see what I can get from that. And I may come back and do another one if there is any more concrete links in this. So here's an early transfer podcast for you. Didn't think I was going to do one today, but here we are. This is pre-recorded. I wasn't going to put this one out at stupid o'clock in the morning. So hopefully you enjoy it. And if you do, come back for more because we will come back and do some more podcasts as and when news drops. So in the meantime, everyone, stay safe, stay healthy. And all that's left to say is up the Villa.